I hope this episode turns out to be as good as Aiden Almy and Eli Nissen throwing absolute heaters against Mandan. Well, that might actually be wishful thinking on my part. Never mind. What is not considered wishful thinking, though, is that you have found yourselves at the beginning of another summer series show being recorded by me, Cole, owner of the Minot Sports Podcast, produced by the one and only KMSU TV and Radio, even though we are still not back in the studio just yet. Hopefully we find ourselves back in there soon. But for the time being, for extra safety precautions, we're still here at home recording on the laptop, which I think we haven't had very many issues with it so far. So we'll have to continue as long as we can, as long as we are able to. Whenever we are allowed back in the studio, we will have to run with the laptop for the time being. But anyways, welcome. Like I said, you are now listening to episode 3 of the summer series. If you are listening to these in order, and you haven't listened to episode 2 yet, and you've been wanting to, I'm going to stop you there, pause this video, go listen to episode 2 if you wish. If you listen to these in order, then come back here and enjoy some more Magic City sports material. Oh, how COVID has gone wild, wreaking havoc all over the earth, and then making its appearance into Dickinson. You might be asking why Dickinson specifically. Well, if you know about the Badlands Big Sticks, they reside over the city of Dickinson. Course, obviously home to Dickinson High School, the Midgets, but that's also where the Big Sticks play their home games at. Because, Badlands, Dickinson, you get the connection there? Yeah, nicely done by Expedition League to make these names creative. But the Badlands Big Sticks, yes, out in Dickinson, as we are getting to less than a week away from the start of the Expedition League season, the Sticks just had, unfortunately at the wrong time, 3 players testing positive for the coronavirus. Yeah, talk about bad timing. And the players aren't at fault here. Let me just straighten that out. But for this to come up getting so close, almost too close to game time, it's going to have to be determined how the league is going to safely handle this, as well as for the team to be cautious, form the correct measures, and get the best possible roster out there for the first game day. Good news is that all other tests that were conducted came back negative. But we'll have to check and see how this plays out, because the Saber Dogs are the Big Sticks' first opponent of the new season. So this will have a say, whatever is to be determined, the games played against the Saber Dogs. Whether they just may have to suspend them for a bit, or postpone. Whatever it is they have to do, we'll have to take a look into the situation as we get closer to this new season of fun baseball provided by the Expedition League. Prayers for a full recovery for the players that tested positive. Let's just hope that there's a safe protocol that comes with this, and where we can still see some of that fun baseball. And not only the beginning of the season for the SaberDogs, but it's also the first home series that they will be playing the Badlands Big Sticks. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. If you had your ears glued enough at the beginning of this episode, you might remember that I referenced Eli Nissen and Aiden Almy and Mandan. That is because your Minot Vistas, in a recent doubleheader against the Mandan Chiefs, Vistas throwing up some donuts on the Chiefs. Not a single run was scored by them, and a large part of that has to do with the outstanding pitching performances, like I said, by Eli Nissen and Aiden Almy. As the Vistas blink the Chiefs from Mandan 1-0 in Game 1 and 9-0 in Game 2, large props goes out to the PSP network for having broadcasted the game so the local fans can be able to watch any out-of-town game. While PSP is still relevant, they're going to be broadcasting something that I have mentioned a few times, most notably on the social media. They will be broadcasting the Heilman's Performance Tournament going on at Corbett Field. So the Heilman's Performance Tournament starting on the 26th of June, that's a Friday. It's going to give Minot a little bit of that tourism feel. But here's what we got. 5 teams. EGF, which I believe stands for East Grand Forks. Don't quote me on that though, I could be way off. Mandan, Pierre, most likely from South Dakota, Bismarck, and the host city, the Vistas from Minot. It is going to be a weekend tournament. It'll feature games beginning the morning of Friday and will end in the afternoon on Sunday, where the Sunday matchup will be seeds versus 1 and 2. Most likely will be the winner of the tourney for that game. So 5 baseball teams residing in Minot for a weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I have your preview. This will be a little bit of a preview show as well. Despite that, I'm calling it episode 3 of the summer series. We're going to look into what we're getting here. Bismarck, okay, so might be, a challenge for the Vistas, but that's no guarantee. We've seen other sorts of scenarios happen before. Mandan, like I mentioned just now, Vistas shut them out in their first doubleheader of the season, so look for Minot to keep up that strong play versus the Chiefs. East Grand Forks, I'm not sure if they're the same as what the Fargo teams trot out onto the field for each game, but I think Minot can compete in those games, knowing how they responded to Fargo Post 2, any game that features a Grand Forks team. Pierre is the wild card in this situation. It's a team from a different state. Well, gotta give respect to East Grand Forks here. They're still sort of in the ND pipeline, but not too far off. But you get what I'm saying. But the Pierre team from South Dakota, they're my wild card. We don't see out-of-state matchups often. Heck, even at the high school level. They still happen, but, what sense would it make to play a bunch of teams not from the same state and then not get, credit in the record? But because this isn't high school ball, this is a Legion baseball division, this seems fair enough. I will admit I do not have a scouting report on all teams. I'll just say this, that Pierre is going to be interesting. We're going to learn. We're going to be doing a lot of learning from this tournament. How good is Pierre? Can Minot compete with them? Is Pierre, as good as, if not better, than defending champion Fargo Post 2? Or, can Minot keep up with these guys? We're going to be looking deep into how these games are played out and what Minot can and cannot compete against. Bismarck, we kind of have that sort of familiarity with. Same with Mandan, except we already have a series under our belts with them. We know how those results came about. But I also got to remember, don't take them lightly just because you smoked them in a series. But we have that familiarity with Bismarck, Mandan, EGF. Big one is Pierre. So overall, what I think heading into this tournament, yes, of course, I do think Minot can be competitive. I do think that Minot has an edge over Mandan. We have seen at times, an underdog upsetting the top seed. I'm not sure how good Bismarck is, but when it comes time for Minot to play them, you just may have to accept that underdog mentality. But again, I don't know how good Bismarck is, which is why I say I think we're going to learn a lot about this tournament. Get used to some more teams coming into town. And don't worry, guys, I'll definitely be learning along in the process. East Grand Forks, I would think, operates just about the same as what the East high school teams usually have to offer at the high school level. And then, of course, Pierre, we'll just have to see what a team from South Dakota operates in their game plan. So I think Minot can compete. Hopefully get at least that second seed in the Sunday game. But you want to reach high. If you can get to 1, that's even better. But I think there's a chance that Minot can come away with that second seed. If not that first seed, they have the capability and the talent to easily do so. But we'll just have to see, wait it out game by game, see what goes down, and you never know, there might be some luck involved. So, of course, Coach Arnston is going to have to throw out the big arms referenced earlier, like Eli Nissen and Aiden Almy. They probably have to make an appearance in here at some point, and they'll have enough rest for each game that follows along. Because this is a tournament, so no double headers. It's all one game played for each opponent, facing each other. So you won't see Minot versus Mandan, 2 consecutive games in a row. Or you'll see Minot Mandan at 1 o'clock, and then you'll see him again at 6 maybe. Each opponent will be new for Minot. So, and with the tournament set up, there will be an added time for rest for the players, and of course trying to make it fair for all teams involved. But yes, starting this Friday, come out to the ballpark and enjoy some fun baseball tourney action. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be of high quality too. So this was kind of halfways a Heilman's performance tourney preview, kind of halfways not. We're still going to call it episode 3 though of the summer series. All in all, thank you guys again for checking in. The Minot Sports Podcast is a production of KMSU TV and Radio, sponsored by Joshua Strong Photography and the MSU Red and Green. Hope you guys have a good day. Keep on staying safe out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.